We have finally arrived at the Goulburn River National Park, and if you've been following our adventure, you would have seen that we haven't been able to make it this far because of the road closure. The campsite is empty, so we have complete pickings of the best spots to set up camp.
Hi there, we're down at Goulburn River National Park, and there's two campsites in Goulburn River National Park. It's free to camp. You've got to book at the moment, and it's $5 to book, and I think the maximum is 5 nights. We've been here 3 nights because, as we said previously, we ended up spending a couple of nights at the showground in Goulburn. It's been absolutely beautiful here. Last night we were alone in the campsite, no one else here. It was a Monday night. Even at the weekend, I think we arrived on Saturday, there were just a couple of other people here, so it's been really good.
And the wildlife's been great for entertainment, hasn't it? So we've had lots of roos come in, and the longer we're staying here, the more they come down and want to be round near us, so they're actually just circling the campsite. So this morning I woke up and there was a roo looking through the window, which is quite cool. We
called him Rodney, but he's gone now.
Yeah, we were going to video with him as our backdrop, but he decided that he was a bit camera shy, so he went. And we got visited by a iguana as well.
Yeah, iguana.
Yeah, a couple of iguanas came down, and yeah, they're obviously hunting for eggs because the birds were going mad attacking them. But unfortunately, they were just too far away to get on the video. But yeah, that was quite an interesting to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is our ideal sort of camp. There's a drop toilet here, which is very clean. It's probably one of the best. Not that I'm an expert, not that we're experts in drop toilets, but it's very clean. There aren't any mosquitoes, even though we're down by the river. We haven't had any mosquitoes.
No.
We have a few flies in the morning, but we're recording this in the morning, and there's not a lot of flies around compared to what it can be like. Anybody that's travelled out in the country of Australia will know that you can get a lot of flies. So it's actually been a very comfortable couple of nights, 3 nights.
It's been very pleasant.
Today we're off to see the Drip. It's a 2.8 kilometre easy walking track that winds along the Goulburn River down to the Drip, or as it's also known, the Great Dripping Wall, which is basically a porous section of rock where rainwater seeps through. It's a significant place for the local Wiradjuri people, and it's best seen after a few days of rain. It can be 10 to 15 degrees cooler at the rock, which is a welcome treat for us as it's really hot at the moment. It is truly beautiful walking along the track. It is just as spectacular as the rock itself. The shape and enormity of some of these rocks are awe-inspiring. Not one is the same. You think you've seen everything, and then you turn the corner and the scenery changes again. As we walk along the path, the abundant plant life is picturesque, and you can hear the water trickling down the riverbed. The birds in the treetops, and every now and then beautiful butterflies circle around us. It felt really magical.
Look at that. This is spectacular. When you think, hang on, I'll have to pan back so you can actually see the size of the block. Okay, so there's some big, huge rock there. I couldn't even estimate how many tons that is. And basically, it's been held up by these sandstone rocks. You can see that they've moved over the years. And that middle one, that's shifted. And there's nothing underneath to support its weight. So it's just these left holding that rock up. And these little bits here. tide up there. Oh, do you reckon? Ooh. Okay.
Every now and then, along the track are little paths that detour off down to the river, where there are little sandy areas for picnics or paddling in the cool water. As you get close to the drip, you can see the lush, luminous vegetation growing on the base of the rock, and the temperature is much cooler, and the sounds of the insects are really loud now. It hasn't rained in a few weeks, but you can still see the drips along the wall. We attempt to walk along, but the ground was really slippery, so we had to head back. We decided to walk through the river on our return journey. The clear water was wonderful. I was expecting it to be really cold, but it was actually really pleasant. Walking through the river gave the walk a completely different perspective, though I would have recommended wearing water shoes as the sandy bottom was quite sharp on the feet.
No, it's not soft. You have to might have to sacrifice your shoes. But it's ever so warm. Really warm. Yeah, we were a bit surprised how warm it was.
It's a shame to walk back up the dusty track. Just say it like that.
Enjoy!
As we walked back to the start, we were greeted by a wonderful man asking for signatures, trying to save the drip. Sadly, because of the noise of the cicadas, the audio isn't very clear, but basically are 3 mining companies extracting thermal coal from this area, which is used to produce power. Prior to mining, the primary land use was agricultural grazing. The Save the Drip campaign is concerned about the rise in algae blooms promoted by the build-up of clay and silt in the sandy riverbeds from the discharge of highly turbid water from storm events and ongoing legacies of the river diversions. Significant increase in river salts loads and unexplained salinity spikes, plus the loss of groundwater-based flows that maintain critical stream flows during extended dry periods. All examples of coal mining impacts that affect the sensitive environment.
If you watched last week's episode, we told you we bumped into a lovely Aboriginal elder in Ralstone who was very passionate about the silver mining in his area.
Bowden Silver Mine Project is an open cut mine owned by Australian company Silver Mines Limited, which has a 16-year lease on the land, which started in 2020, 2 kilometres outside of Louis. It is estimated that over its 16-year period, they will extract 46.6 million tonnes of waste rock, which has the potential to be acid forming. Bowden proposed to construct a 117-hectare tailings dam at the headwaters of the Lawson Creek. These tailings could potentially contain lead, arsenic and also cyanide, held back by a 56-metre high dam wall. The potential for acid pollution draining into the rivers and water catchment area from the dam could affect waterways for over hundreds of years. All it needs is an unexpected weather pattern. Lead poisoning can have a catastrophic consequence, especially in the development of children, yet they were allowed to mine 2 kilometres from the local primary school. Bowden's claims that silver will remain the operation focus. However, they also extract zinc and lead. A feasibility study completed shows that they will produce an average 3.4 million ounces of silver per year, which equates to 96,388 kilograms. Not a lot. Together with approximately 6,800 tonnes of zinc, 5,000 tonnes of lead per year. It is also reported that pollution from the mine could also harm the native wildlife, especially the koala population that is already under threat due to the fires in the area. When you consider the damage that the mining can potentially have, you can see why the locals in Ralstone and Louis are so upset.
I'm sorry, Chris, the sound quality wasn't as good as we'd hoped, but thank you for all your tireless work you do to save the drip.
Thank you so much for your help.
No,
that's right.
Thank you.
Okay, happy times.
Thanks, bye.
See you.
As we drive to Hands on Rock, you can see the people of Mudgee's plight.
Conventional open-cut mining methods are used here. Overburden is removed by a combination of cast blasting, doze and truck and shovel methods. Haul trucks transport coal to various hoppers and pads for blending, and then to a coal handling and processing plant to be crushed and washed. Coal is conveyed to a rail loadout and transported by train to either domestic customers or to a port in Newcastle or right down into Port Kembla for the international market. Moolarben Coal Mine is owned by Yancoal Mining, a collaboration of Korean-based companies. It also operates 24 hours a day. The Moolarben Coal Complex comprises 4 approved open-cut mining areas, 3 approved long-wall underground mining areas, and other mining-related infrastructures. Mining operations are currently approved until December 2038, and under the current contract, they can extract up to 24 million tonnes of coal per year for international export. However, there is a proposed extension open cut operations to the south and east of the existing OC3 mining area to allow mining of the additional coal reserves on approximately 40 million tonnes. They have 700 people currently working at the Moolarben coal operations, either as direct employees or as contractors. Wilpinjun mine is owned by Peabody, a US leading producer. In 2021, the company owned or has interest in 17 active coal mining operations, either in the US or Australia. In addition to its own mining operations, the company also markets and brokers coal from other coal producers. They have had a team of 6,600 global employees serving customers in more than 25 countries on 6 continents. Though their website didn't explain how many were based in Australia, in fact, it was very difficult to find out any information. I had to do a lot of digging, if you pardon the pun. The other 2 mining companies were very open and transparent about their operations, but this company wasn't. Wilpingham had both surface and underground extraction process, and the plant spanned 2,800 hectares. Its platform is primarily export focused, using ports in Newcastle and Port Kembla, with only a small portion staying in Australia. During 2021, they extracted 13.2 million tonnes of coal. Their current licence is approved until 2038. Though they are already investigating options to extend their current open cut operations at the site to produce an additional 55 million tonnes of coal reserves. Yulin Coal Mining Company is 100% owned by Glencore, Swiss-based mining and commodities trading company that produces thermal coal just for export. It currently comprises 2 underground mining operations, Yulin Underground and Yulin West operations, along with its open cut mine. The whole site spans 17,959 hectares. Mining at the site dates back to the 1920s, with operations to supply coal to local markets. An exploration program undertaken in 1976 in the area proved that the existence of extensive coal reserves, and mining operations expanded substantially in the 80s. And is one of the longest running coal mining operations and producers for thermal coal for export. The current licence allows them to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and extract 20 million tonnes of coal a year. However, during 2020, it reported extracting just 10,300,000 tonnes of coal, and in 21 had 600 employees and contractors. However, it didn't state in their report if these were all Australian based. All mining companies are required as part of their licences to rehabilitate the land. Future land use will likely consist of grazing and conservation, though how long you would have to wait for cattle to safely graze was not mentioned in any of the reports. There are many significant benefits that mining industries have brought to the country, employment especially in the regional areas, and it's the biggest sector of the national economy. In fact, iron ore remains the Australians' largest export, followed by coal. These 2 commodities alone represent over a quarter of all our export earnings. But that's the obvious stuff. It's the little things that we take for granted and don't think of, the things we use every day, like gold and nickel for technology, steel and aluminium for cars, coal to power our homes, and plastics made from oil. Yes, we could import all these things from another country, but is this dealing with the real issue? It is a hard debate, one that myself and Andy have done along the trip. On one hand, you see the destruction caused to the land and the potential harm to people's health and environmental pollutants. But if we removed mining from Australia altogether, it would certainly crumble the economy, and employment would be at its all-time high, along with mental health issues, drug and alcohol problems. Yes, mining can be destructive, but you have to question, can we live without it? Without it, I couldn't produce this video, and some might say that's not a bad thing. But as humans, we are developed to be social and inquisitive. Without technology, we'll be removing our ability to communicate and learn. This video is not meant to be in any way an attack on mining, and I apologise if it comes across this way, but my intention is to make it thought-provoking. Maybe if we paid more attention about how things are mass-produced, then we would be less inclined to toss them away in landfill. Well, that's my hope anyway. hands-on rock heritage site is just past the entrance to the drip, so it was a great opportunity to do both at the same time. These stencils of hands were made by the Wiradjuri people who occupied most of the central west of what is now New South Wales and were one of the largest Aboriginal language groups. It was traditionally a place for only women and children. There are over 100 hand stencils of women, children, emu feet and other motifs, though sadly most have eroded over the years. The image is created by blowing wet paint from the mouth over and around an object held against the rock face. The paint was made from natural occurring substances like ochre, which was ground and mixed with either water, blood, fats or sap to make a paste. The Wiradjuri tribe was semi-nomadic and moved camps in accordance with ancient dreaming tracks, song lines and seasonal food supplies. They used to hold corroborees here and the symbolic dances and songs. These great religious ceremonies brought hundreds of people together from distances of hundreds of kilometers.
Generations it goes back. They're very tiny little hands, they are. Very little one.
Next time on You'll Go Wild, we meet the local wildlife in the Goulburn River National Park. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share.